Bonjour à tous. Comment ça va?
Ça va bien.
Ça va bien? Ok. I see. Ça va pas mal, merci. Plutôt bien. I see people leaving, so it's going to be in English, I promise. But we could do it in French if needed, yeah? Pas de problème. Yeah, thanks a lot. It's a pleasure to be back. It's my third, I think, Marketforce event. So thanks to Jonathan for inviting me again. And I'm waiting for my invite for next year's conference in Belgium. So please. I've got 20 minutes, so I'm not sending emails. I'm just making sure we make the most of those 20 minutes. I've got too much to cover. I could easily talk about social media with the same presentation, believe me or not, for probably half a day. So you understand the scope of it, yeah. First of all, who is using social media in the room? And can you let your, okay. And who is working on social media projects at the moment? Okay, just a few, yeah? Good. We'll talk about that, yeah? I'll introduce myself. So basically, those are a few initiatives I covered online. So I do many things. I've got a blog. This is me. It's been a while I wanted to show a picture of me naked at a conference. So it's me. I was really blonde, blue eyes. You can't see that. I was born in Africa, so hence it's not my mother. It was my nanny at the time. And basically, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm very visible online. I'm tempted to say I'm always naked from the business side of things. And I used to work at Lloyd's TSB in online sales and in innovation. So I guess, understand how difficult it could be to innovate at a big bank and how it's difficult to break the silos internally, convince, and launch any kind of engaging customer-facing initiative. So social media, when you add a complexity layer where people don't really understand what to do there, we appreciate how complicated it could be. Yeah? So what's social media? I like that one. Sorry for the topic, though. It's enjoy your lunch. No, but I think it's funny, though. Hopefully you like it, yeah? I had to be entertaining, you know, to keep your interest levels quite high. There's so many channels, basically. Where do you stop? What shall you be doing? You're a financial brand. Shall you be there anyway? Yes, no. Shall you be listening? Shall you be present? How active should you be there? Which kind of content? Okay, topics. Do you have like one strategy in terms of content for everything or different ones? It's very important to ask yourself those questions, yeah? I won't give you all the answers today, but I believe I'm one of the only ones worldwide to focus on that industry in particular, yeah? So I'll try to give you some good insights and best practices on that topic. So what's happening now? This is Twitter. I'm not sure you're using it. That was this morning at 6 a.m., so not now. People say Twitter has so much noise. Why would we use it as a bank or an insurance company? That's very common. That was trending today, yeah? Wrong songs to play in prison. And you've got like All By Myself, I Want to Hold Your Hand, so it's quite interesting, right? So that was this morning, okay, at 6 a.m., but it's not just about noise. It's not just about stupid, silly conversations. It's not just about Justin Bieber, yeah? We can do a lot on the B2B side of things and in banking and financial services in general. Just for information, this is the Twitter coverage of this conference in the last 2-3 days. That was from this morning at 6 a.m. Not many tweets, just 72. So please, next year, I'd like to see more activity from the crowd. And this, in comparison, that's the link to financial services. You can compare both a conference and an initiative launched by a financial services firm. But this is American Express, as you can't see. And they're creating a lot of buzz online and conversations around an initiative they launched last year called Small Business Saturday for small businesses in the US. And you check that, so you check the, what we call hashtag on Twitter here, SmallBizSat, sorry, there. And you'll see it's tremendous, actually. They've got dozens and dozens and dozens of tweets every minute, right, from small businesses, real digital business from the US. And that's led and generated or urged by American Express as a financial brand, yeah? So you see the difference, not much activity. Again, we can't compare an initiative in the US from American Express and a conference, but just to give you an idea of activity and number of people online as well, yeah, using it. Banks in Asia Pacific, I was there. I just came back from a month in Asia Pacific. Again, I love pictures, as you can see, but let's skip that. So I love kangaroos. I delivered workshops in Malaysia last week. What's important is I covered that like 3 years ago, and I said, well, there's still a long way to go in Asia, but they're catching up, right? One of my beliefs is that you need to understand what's happening from the industry worldwide, where it makes sense. People like you, retail bank, commercial bank, insurance companies, whether they're in Europe, they're in the UK, They're in France, or they're in Asia, or other part of the world, right? So you check that, this is online, right? Just snapshots. Of course, penetration in Asia is big. That's Facebook penetration in the top 10. So you see lots of countries there. Hence, the appetite from banks to do things on Facebook, even they still don't know what to do there. And a lot of initiatives that snapshot. I guarantee you an intense presentation just to open your eyes, hopefully, and give you some insights. Please feel free to come to me after the presentation to talk. Yeah? I'd love to work with you anyway, but I'll stay until 3 o'clock for the presentation of Raffaele from Barclays. Yeah? I'm keen to see what he has to say. So Standard Chartered, very active. They launched crowdsourcing experiment to recruit one of their interns last year. Then Standard Chartered again, the very smart process. They increased NPS score on their log out page of online banking. I'll be very quick. Huh? I can talk about everything in every single one and spend 30 minutes on those initiatives. I was in Sydney like 3-4 weeks ago for the launch of Catching, one of the most innovative mobile payment application from a bank worldwide. Don't know if you know about that. Super sleek integration with your Facebook contacts, with your email, with your contacts on your phone. You can seamlessly send payments to other people. So that's in Australia. From CBA, Commonwealth Bank of Australia. Again, I'll be quick here, but feel free to ask me questions. Still in Australia, NAB, National Australia Bank. They were very good. They launched an awarded social media PR campaign 8 months ago called The Breakup. Okay, it's very PR, so I covered it again. But they had an issue like 3 weeks ago in Australia. We're different from banks. We're transparent. We're not like the rest of the industry. Well, the thing is that 3-4 weeks ago, they withhold actually the rate cut, and they just gave whatever, 0.20% instead of 25. So everybody online was like, well, you deceived us. You're not transparent. You're not any better than the rest of the herd. So they've got huge issues and conversations online. That's a good case studies in terms of PR management, right? Pig, you know, I'll pass some of those, but the idea is that Pig launched a service to send payments through Twitter. Pig.co. Everything is on my blog, so no worries, and that's why I'm very fast there. CIMB in Malaysia, they target the youth very well on their Facebook page. They did that actually 10 days ago in Malaysia. When I was in Kuala Lumpur, I saw that on one of the leading newspapers. See, they focus on social and link it back to a financial product, like a debit card. And again, Commonwealth Bank, the last but not the least, I talked about them a lot. Expect a lot from that bank in the next 6 to 12 months. So please, I suggest you watch out. Why? Well, because one of the reasons, Andy Lark, the new CMO of the bank, as he says, Chief Marketing and Online Officer, CMO, okay, CMO, he used to create and build social media at Dell, yeah? So you'll see a lot from Commonwealth in terms of customer engagement and digital advocacy, yeah? And they filed like a few weeks ago like a trademark in Australia to launch an ID bank a la ID Storm Dell. So we're talking crowdsourcing here. It's probably times 10 what First Direct has started to do on the 1st of August with the First Direct Lab, if you're familiar with that. Yeah? The idea is to engage people, ask them to suggest and contribute and share the feedback on topics, initiatives the bank is launching or plans to launch soon. Yeah? So crowdsourcing is going to be a big one. Yeah? Okay. So I should put a picture of me naked again to allow people to smile. No, it's quite dense. It's going to be intense. Huh? Risk versus ROI, one of the key questions I got asked all the time. Christophe, it's great. We like what you do. It's fantastic. It's entertaining. Yeah. So where is the ROI of social media? Tell me. What's the ROI? Well, and it's risky. Yeah? Well, I challenge that. I say, first of all, what is social media? Yeah? It impacts virtually every single part of your organization. So you see here, any and every part from brands, products, customer care, marketing, CSR, recruitment, you pick and choose, right? So there's not one type of initiative, there's not one set of KPIs, and there's not one type of ROI and way to measure success in social media. There's loads of ideas, brand, KPI, net promoter score, share of voice online, brand sentiment, positive, negative, those are KPIs. Products, and acquisition, again, share of voice online, online sales, or click-through rates, submit of applications, so many things. Customer care, inbound calls, volumes, what's the impact on that? Advocacy online, again, brand sentiment. And HR, you want like ROI, okay, what if you could recruit people quickly, quicker, and getting rid of the middleman, how much money would you save? Again, there's simple ways to assess the impact of social media. The first criteria being, if there's a crisis, you're in trouble if you don't know how to interact with people there, yeah? So in terms of reputation management, it's one of the 4 ways to start social at banks and insurance, usually. It's a crisis, it's the best way. It's a competition. Okay, oh, they're doing it, we should be doing it. And there's, within the bank, there's someone who's doing it like under the radar, and it becomes big and good. Or they're the CEO or senior manager, senior management understanding and giving resources, allocating budget and resources to do so, yeah. Those are the 4 ways to do social at a bank. And the risk, I would challenge you as well and say you can minimize the risk, it's not that big, yeah. We don't have time now, but I could spend again half a day just talking about risk. Is it like social media and digital engagement on your own online assets, on your prospect side, in online banking? Risk is pretty much 0. Is it your own social media assets, your own Facebook pages, your Twitter accounts, and so on and so forth, Foursquare, your blogs? Again, the risk is very low. Blog, no risk. Twitter, close to 0. Facebook, okay, we could talk about that. Yeah, there's things to tweak and processes to put in place. Or is it social media outside your own assets, and then you have to outreach and go and respond to a user-generated forum, okay, or a personal blog? That's different. You can't control that, but you can decide to engage or not. Shall you? No, you don't have to respond to every single comment online, yeah? Okay? Current challenges and opportunities, what's hot, not so hot. Again, the myth I put here, new content, you don't have to produce new content all the time. Please stop it, yeah? You need to leverage what you already have, I believe, yeah? Response, you don't have to respond in real time and you don't have to respond to everything. Budget and resources, make the most of what you have today. Okay, understand what's happening, empower people if needed, minimize the risk, leverage your content, do it well. You start there, you do well there, then you decide to be disruptive and be the next Dell of social media in financial services, yeah. And ROI, there's many ways again to assess that. Hot versus not hot, not so hot. Personal branding, still a big issue and opportunity in banking, right? We're scared as financial brands, but the more empowered your customer and your employee in that case, the better for the brand, I believe. Influencer management, it's not from online reputation management, listening to conversations. No, you need to understand who is influential. It seems simple or obvious, but we're still too much stuck into listening to everything online, yeah? Okay, how do you deal with that data, yeah? KYF, know your followers, to me it's a big one. I used to work in KYC, in compliance. Know your followers, the better you know your communities, the better your content strategy, the better your ability to convert people back and gain them as new customers, or increase share of wallet, or getting them more engaged with your brand, yeah? If you don't know your community, don't be happy or proud to have 1 million likes on Facebook, yeah? It may be close to 0 in terms of impact on you and brand intimacy. So I would challenge that a lot, the success and figures we use as big referentials today. Yeah? Anyway, you'll have access to that. You've got it, I guess, in your folder there. Gen Y, it's not just about Gen Y on the right-hand side. Community management, it's still hard, super important, but don't outsource it. Do it yourself. There's no value, and you'll see there's a risk to me to outsource that to an agency. And size, it's not just about, again, size, but quality. Twitter hacking, this is all news. You hacked on Twitter. Okay, good for you, yeah? I think it's the best thing which can happen to you. And then it forces you quickly to change your processes and be better in social media, yeah? So you can't just say, oh, it's too risky, we don't do it, yeah? Do the basics well, think long-term. CTA for call to action. I'm a huge believer of content and call to actions. Offline, try to bridge the social/online world and offline. The opportunity is tremendous. Delivering existing resource, don't outsource that, yeah? Again, I have to be quick because of time, but one, learn. I think it's important to understand how we, as an industry, are leveraging those channels, okay? And not just Dell and Starbucks and, yeah, Ford and da-da-dee-da-da. Yes, we know they're good. We're not saying the same products. You're a commercial bank. Okay, you've got limited budget. How is it that, how can you be inspired by Dell when you've got like no budget virtually for social media, yeah? Okay? No, but it's important. One of the big issues, every single agency is the best. Every single agency will force you to spend a lot of money to design bespoke things. They all want to create pages on Facebook, but there's no long-term strategy. So you do things, there's no traction. You spend money, whereas you didn't have to usually, and then there's a problem at some point. Yeah? People say, wait a minute, I give you 20 grand, 100 grand to build an online community, there's no engagement. Where is my ROI? I'm like, no, let's do it better, step back, do the right things first, yeah? Build your social media presence, still important. There's a crisis, you need to be there already. Otherwise, what happens? I mean, if you don't even have the tools to communicate, it's better to me to be inactive than being not there, right? You need to have an official presence. Then set up your business goals and success criteria. There's not just one KPI or ROI. Then influencer management, identity. Yeah, it's important to understand who is influential, not just understand and flag them, but then create a communication strategy. You know they're there? Good. How do you communicate with them on a regular basis, not just once a year? Nobody's doing that. Very few brands are doing it, right? Content, very important to have a proper strategy. We could do a workshop on that, takes too long today, but content, super important. Don't have to reinvent the wheel and build new content all the time. You don't have to do that to be good, yeah. Build, train your team, of course. You can start internally if you've got the skills, identify them, empower them. Response, you don't have to respond to everything, but engagement moderation is important. So you need to have a strong strategy there. This is just an example of response strategy on Twitter, yeah. I know it's almost lunch, so I need to do some fun things as well. And it demonstrates the difficulty for a big brand or financial brand to interact there. Imagine 5 years ago, if I told you that this is an official tweet from one of the largest US banks, yeah? Right? Thanks for following. First of all, it's written like in young, text with your banking questions. That's inconceivable 5 years ago, I believe, yeah? This is customer support from Wells Fargo in the US, right? One of the most active banks on Twitter for customer support. My issue here is like, okay, this is a Twitter user. She's got a beautiful Twitter profile. I don't know if you can see it well, but it's a nice rear end with a flower. And yeah, can you add some extra money in my checking account just because? Yeah, okay. Do you have to respond to that as a brand? I'm telling you to say no, yeah? So you need to have a strategy again. Do you respond systematically? Don't automate. I mean, do the right thing. So this is just an example to keep you entertained, but that's a very serious topic, right? We need to do it well. You need to reward. Social media is just about rewarding people. You need to convince them of the value of visiting, contributing, promoting your initiatives, and you need to reward them for the time they spend doing so. That's it. That's the magic formula in social. And then visibility. You've got social media assets, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Promote them, right, on your own assets. This is BBVA. Compass in Austin, I was there, so that was a year ago. This is in the street, yeah. I'm not saying you have to do it, right? But this is just an idea to illustrate my concept. Bless you, yeah. I will swear. And KYF, you need to understand who is following you on Twitter, who is following you or liking you on Facebook. Otherwise, they almost no value. I've got so many other slides and so much time. Emerging trends in social media, CS for customer support, customer care, right? VOC for voice of the customer. One of my favorite topics. How is it that you can capture the feedback, the comments from your real clients and empower them, use those feedbacks in an open environment to change people's perception, to drive customer acquisition. It's real people comment. It's not just 5-star if you take products. It could be 1 star. It's relevant. It's moderated, but you didn't get rid of the 1-star reviews. You publish those 1-star reviews. They're precious. People don't really understand or buy marketing messages, but they buy their peer recommendations. So it's how can we enable banks and clients in a public manner. CGC for customer-generated content, linked with VOC. KYF for know your followers. The main thing is crowdsourcing, right? First Direct is starting with their lab. There's still a long way to go in the UK. Yeah? Yeah? Stay with me? I'm trying to manage time here, and I cut so many slides as well. Best practices, yeah. Again, quick snapshot. Huh? It's going to be very quick and fast. Huh? Just to give you an idea of the depth and how broad social media is today's banking and financial services. Not in a specific order. You've got the links here. All those links point to my blog, and I cover those initiatives. It's free. It's available. So please don't worry. I can be very quick. You've got access to most of it online. Yeah. New Zealand, they launched in September 2010 the first virtual branch on Facebook. What is it? In a sense, it's just like a basic chat on Facebook, sorry. So it's not really a virtual branch. They were the first one. They drive a lot of traffic and a lot of awareness, especially when they launched. They reached like close to 10,000 monthly users of the application. Today, they got 600 roughly on average, yeah? This is very good from a PR standpoint. But it's not super engaging. It doesn't really leverage the power of Facebook. because everything is in one way, it's secure, but you don't leverage the viral aspect element of Facebook, okay? So it's good because they were the first one. They reaped the benefits in terms of brand and awareness. The WePad project in Italy, Alessandro is probably very aware of that, but it's a WeBank, a direct bank in Italy. They launched a project to crowdsource the design of their iPad application. Very exciting, very good, 6 weeks, 6 experts, the Italian people, da-di-da. And they launched an application like 6 months later. It took them 6 months, and the application doesn't live up to the expectations. It's a good first part, very engaging. How do you use that to really meet expectations and launch something market-defining, right? Here, they didn't really achieve expectations. US Small Business Saturday. This Saturday, there's a second edition of the Small Business Saturday, an initiative launched by American Express, the king of social media and financial services, inarguably. And they want to become an ambassador for the sector, for small businesses, right? And they created that between, anyway, Black Friday and Cyber Monday in the US to urge people to shop small, as they said, go to small businesses instead of going shopping with the likes of Walmart and Co. Yeah? They became ambassadors for the sector. They're super smart. Last year, they launched a Facebook page. Within 3 weeks, they reached 1.2 million likes. And here, I would challenge that's real people, real small businesses, so it's valuable. Now they've got, 2.3 million likes. You'll see on Twitter, it's phenomenal, the amount of activity they're generating right now. Yeah. I would challenge, this is to support one of my things, like KPIs, right? 2.3 million of Small Business Saturday and American Express versus the 2.5 million of Capital One. You know Capital One in the US, credit cards as well. They built that because, and thanks to a smart partnership with Zynga, Farmville on Facebook, you know the thing, yeah? Farmville? Yeah, and they partnered with them 2 or 3 times in the last 12 months, and they exploded, went from 150,000 to 2.5 million, yeah? And you see the difference, talking about 251,000 American Express versus 8,000 Capital One. It's not just about size. You do that, then you're in trouble because your content strategy is super challenging with 2.3 million. How is it that you produce relevant content to please most of your follower base when it's like 2 million strong? Super complicated to do that. And again, I need to go quite quickly there, but just to give you an idea of what's happening. Interbank Peru, they launched quite an innovative social customer care strategy on Facebook and on Twitter. Okay? The prime is they decided to go the route like other companies like Comcast in the US, FedEx, having many profiles for many customer reps. One of the challenges is to build the community here, the brand, personal branding. What if that person leaves the organization? What are you going to do with those profiles? How do they divide the new requests coming in? There's quite a few challenges there. I believe in banking, you don't have to go that route. You can do great stuff directly on Twitter, yeah, and customer support. France, BNP Paribas, I helped them to launch their customer support account. What they did, they don't have any volumes. Even now, the volumes are super low, right? 3-4 requests a day. It's nothing. They're very pleased still to be there. They were the first one, so marketing, that's done. And then they launched an initiative. It's just marketing. There's no automation, no STP, to open a bank account in just 1 tweet, right? Yeah, but they were the first one to say it in France, yeah. Lots of traffic, lots of awareness. They don't open anything on Twitter. It's probably close to 0 in terms of uplift in sales. But that's smart marketing, right? And then CIMB in Malaysia, I talked about them. They launched what I call the most viral application on Facebook, but this is for the youth market. So then that impacts your strategy in terms of content. I think I'm done, so I don't know what to do there. I improvise. Google Plus, it's one thing, but you need to think about Twitter and Facebook, right? We're tracking now 200 Google Plus accounts in 21 countries. 1,100 Facebook pages and apps in, well, you see that 70 countries, and Twitter there. Do the basics well. Google Plus is one thing. There's an opportunity, maybe. But considering you don't use Facebook and Twitter well today, I would say, okay, step back again. Do the basics well, right? Respond to those questions. Be active on Twitter. You think you're on Twitter because you've got an account, yeah? What's your content strategy? How many tweets a day do you send, yeah? I guarantee you 90% of the 1,600 Twitter accounts we follow and we track are not active in financial services only. Yeah? So you're not there yet. I guess I've got other slides, but I'll stop there. And this is the last but not least. It's a fantastic book in English, not in French, about social media and financial services. And there's a Kindle version. And you see on Amazon.com, whatever. And this is my friend Brett King. If you know Brett Innovation, he wrote a review as well. So please feel free to check that online. And I've got 5 other slides, but I don't have time to show them to you. I hope you liked it. We could talk about it for days and days. So please, ask a few questions now and get back to me during the break. Yeah? Merci beaucoup. Yeah? Merci.